It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another postcode.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello, this is the Sunday session. This is a podcast for Harness Racing New South Wales. My name is Greg Hayes and it is great to have your company again this week. I know I started last week's show praising Cam Hart, but his run at Menangle on a Saturday night is getting ridiculous. Since the Eureka, the world's richest harness race, there's been 26 races run on a Saturday night at Menangle. There was the one after the Eureka to wrap up that card. Then they had the 9-race meeting and they've had 2 8-race cards since. So 26 races. Cam has won a staggering 13. It's a remarkable purple patch he's in at the moment. Yes, he drives more than his fair share of favourites, but he also creates headaches for other drivers when he's not driving the favourite. I mentioned Classic Mission on the podcast last week when I spoke with Cam, and I hope a few people stuck solid with the horse because Cam said how well it's going, and it proved too strong last night. So well done to Cam Hart. I saw the story during the week by Adam Hamilton that they'll be looking for a new driver of Bay of Biscay in the Victoria Cup due to Cam's connection with Swayze. So interesting to see which way Emma and Clayton go, but they have a number of drivers in Victoria who will step in for Cam, no doubt. A bit of housekeeping off the top. There will be no Sunday session next week. I'm taking a break to recharge the batteries before the Breeders' Challenge. Bit of R&R with the kids during the school holidays, but I will be back the following week to review the 2-year-old Breeders' Challenge semi-finals at Menangle. The Breeders' Challenge heats continued during the week. At Menangle on Monday afternoon, Sugar Pie Honey took the scalp of Gunner Reload after a much tougher trip, and the Rixon team have a bit of work to do if they're going to turn the tables in the final. Soho Gunslinger made it a double for Ricky Alchin at cricket score odds. BK gave Soho Gunslinger a bit of a rap before the race and said it was a great place play at $8 or $9, I think it was, and then it comes down the outside and knocks them all off at nearly triple figures. On Wednesday night at Bathurst, it was Jungle Dragon for Bernie and Jason Hewitt winning, and the 2 3-year-old heats, the fillies were won by Smirk and Serene and Tenaciously for the McDowells and Brad Hewitt, respectively. We Own a Miss Mickey and My Ultimate Barney both won at Wagga, with My Ultimate Barney dropping a 25-second bomb on the way home. Peace Out and Walter Warlock won the Newcastle heats on Friday night. So overall, it's been a great week of racing. I want to make mention of Lockie Painting driving his first winner on Monday at Menangle. I reached out to Lockie to get him on the podcast. I couldn't track him down. Didn't hear back from him. I'll keep trying. Hopefully I can get him on in the next couple of weeks to talk about his first win. It was a really long time coming. Lockie's had plenty of drives and he finally cracked it for the win. Jason Grimson put him on. Jason and Lockie lived together. Good to see Lockie drive that first winner driving Hooter. Having its first run for the Grimson stable. And I also tried to get Jack Callaghan on the podcast this week. Obviously spoke with him after he won at his first night at the Meadowlands on the show, going back a few weeks now. And now that he's back in Australia, wanted to find out more about that USA trip, but also turning up in WA on Friday night and what his long-term plans are now that he's back home. Couldn't track him down on the short turnaround. So that'll be a follow-up interview in a couple of weeks' time. Is he going to be here in New South Wales or is he looking to relocate to WA? Enough about who isn't on the podcast. Who is on the podcast? Scott Hewitt is going to join me after Farfalla Stride won at Menangle on Saturday night. Scott's flying, as is his brother Sam. We heard from Sam on the podcast last week. And even big brother Brad is knocking up winning races. So only fair I catch up with Scott this week. Anton Golino is going to join me after Sheetweb Weaver won the Menangle Park Trotters Cup and took some pretty big scalps in the process. Not often a Golino horse goes around at such big odds in a feature trotting race. And Mackenzie Atkinson is going to join me as well. Now, she trained her first winner during the week. Recently, I spoke with her brother Matt about driving his first winner, and a few weeks later, it's Mackenzie's turn as she opened up her winning account at Canberra. Big show, 3 guests, plenty to get through. First up, though, it's Anton Golino.
as appealing out now is Toro Stride, but the leaders have skipped away. 29 the quarter. First into the straight as they flatten for the run to the judges. Sheetweb Weaver trying hard in second spot is Courage Stride. They were followed by Malibu. Here comes Gus, steaming home through the middle of the track. The leader is still Sheetweb Weaver. Out after it, Courage Stride. Gus runs to third, spots them too big a break, and it's going to be Sheetweb Weaver and Mick Stanley. Too good. Goes home to win the Menangle Trotters Cup and beat second home Courage Stride. Third was Gus.
Anton Golino had 4 runners in the Menangle Park Trotters Cup on Saturday night. Rakiro Blaze was the favoured one according to the market, but it was Sheetweb Weaver who produced a massive performance to defy all the challenges in the straight. No surprise to be talking to Anton Golino after a feature trotting race. I spoke with Anton a few months ago now on the podcast and got some great feedback after that chat, so it's really good to be catching up with him again. Mate, congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. No, it was super. We were happy with that one.
Going into the race on Saturday night, 4 runners. The punters had Sheetweb Weaver, the third pick of your 4. Is that how you saw it going into the race?
No, not really. No, like his runs back have been super. Like his run first up was awesome. He was without cover from 1200, and then he was probably a little bit. He won his next one. Then he was a bit disappointing the next one, but then last start I thought he was actually really good. We've had a few little problems with him, like steering, and he was locking on the line and hanging in pretty bad. But then last start. We changed a couple of things and done a bit of vet work and all that sort of stuff. And Mick said that he drove perfect. But if you look, his sectionals were really good. And, Rakiro Blaze was super last start. And she sort of, he didn't lose any ground following her, So I was, sort of pretty happy with him going into last night. So I wasn't totally surprised.
That's his second win, as you mentioned. It's obviously the stand start last night. The big guns were off the handicaps. Does that victory now suggest that he's ready to take that next step and step his toe into the bigger races off a mobile?
I'm not 100% sure, Greg. Last night I sort of thought that was his best chance. I'm not probably the biggest fan of the standing starts, I just, I don't dislike them, but I just know that nowadays it's very, very hard for a horse to, give, especially at that grade, give another horse 20, 30 metres and beat it, It's a bit different going through the grades if you're just much the best. But when you get up in class like that, all them horses there last night basically are there for a reason because they're pretty good horses, aren't they, So they all deserve to be there and they can all run. And, when you're trotting sort of 57 off the front end, it's pretty hard to give a horse any sort of handicap and catch him. But, like you're saying that, he's a lovely horse, his horse. And funny, he's a high pressure horse. I was a bit reluctant to take him. When I was first offered him, I thought, gee, I'm on a hiding to nothing here. He's, I think he won 6 or 7 in a row or something. And I thought, geez, I'll either look like a total idiot or, but no, he's a beautiful horse to be around, and but we'll see, like I said, I just thought last night all the favourites fell his way, being off the front, and the visitors being off the bigger handicaps. We'll see how he comes out of it, and we'll just go from there, I guess.
I know when we were talking last time about a different horse, you mentioned that horse raced barefoot to try and give him a bit more speed. Did Sheetweb Weaver wear all 4 shoes last night?
No, he was barefoot, mate. We pulled his shoes last night. I sort of thought that was his best chance. He's such an easy gated horse, He's in the past, I guess he's had soundness issues and I think just getting him sound and that has been probably the biggest thing for him, he's so good gated, I think you could put anything on him and he'll just trot.
When you consider removing the shoes, I know they do it a lot in Europe, but what makes a horse a good candidate to be able to race without the shoes? Is it the fact that they're just good gaited and you know that they'll trot without them?
Yeah, generally, like some horses you just can't do it. It's you can't do it. And a lot of the time you get it wrong too, Greg, like I've done it in the past where I've got it wrong, I sort of thought, sure, this horse would be able to handle it, and, it's a little bit of a roll at the stumps, I guess, but, generally them older horses like him that are good gaited like that, they usually handle it really well.
You're closing in on 500 training victories here in Australia. When you reach that mark, I'm tipping it's going to be a pretty good feeling. After you mentioned last time you were on the podcast, you considered giving the training caper away. So to get to that 500 training winners in 5 or 6 winners or whatever it is, I think it's going to be a special moment for you.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even aware of that, Greg, to be honest. Any of them milestones are great, aren't they? Like we work hard, Greg, and anyone in the industry knows it's a hard slog to get to 500 minutes. So no, that'll be good, it'll be satisfying. They're great.
Another one I did want to ask you about was Speaks Volumes. Now, that won a race for you at Goulburn earlier in the month, won really convincingly, owned by Norm Jenkin. Looks like he's been a bit of a handful, but everything went right when he put them away at Goulburn.
Yeah, he's probably funny horse, Greg. Like he's probably not the fastest horse we have, but he's my favourite. Basically Norm was told that the horse will never make the races, and he sort of offered him to me, and at the time we were taking sort of anything we could get, I guess, and I trained his mum. And his mum was very talented, only had a very short career, but she actually could go a bit. She was just a little fragile sort of thing. Norm was told that he'd never make the races, and he'd been to a couple of other trainers and that, and I sort of thought, I'll give him a shot. And his first prep for us was a little bit of a disaster, but this time round he's come back and he's that actually win a goal and was I said it felt as good as winning a bloody Group 1 there. It was a really satisfying win. Just the horse, he's just a real cool horse to be around, and fun horse to have.
We haven't seen him again. Will we see him again soon?
Yeah, he's in on Monday. He's in tomorrow.
Okay.
He's in tomorrow in the stand. I don't know if it's completely up his alley. It's a big field. But he's off the front and he's doing everything right. Like, he's no star, Greg. I'm not going to, deny that. Like, he's probably limited to how far he can go, but, it's just very satisfying to win a race with him, and, it was great for Norm. I was real grateful for the support, and since then, Norm sent down Sheetweb Weaver that she's done a good job for us. And we've got a baby there for him. So, no, it's been a great way to start the relationship.
So, what's Sheetweb Weaver? Obviously, nothing went right last night. What's the plans going forward?
I think she's very fast. We probably still haven't seen anywhere near the best of her as far as, really letting her rip. She's there. Last night was a bit of a nightmare for her, around a lot of horses. She's highly strung, she's but a stand with horses inside, outside of her, I sort of always thought we were going to be up against it, but also thought if she steps away, she would have been right in that race. We'll probably miss her next week. I'll just see, she sort of didn't get knocked around too much there last night, but we might go next week and miss the week after with it. But there's some feature races coming up in Melbourne, but there's some good racing up here also. So I'm not ruling out taking her away for a shot at the better ones, but also realistic. You're going to have King, Zahara, and then back soon, and the reality is, we're probably going to be chasing her around.
Yeah.
You got to be realistic too. But in her own right, I mean, she's doing a great job, and yeah, I think she's very, very fast horse, and with a trip and that especially, I think she could run a really, really good mile. So yeah, we'll just sit down over the next couple of weeks, I guess, and look at our options. But yeah, she's talented. It was just a shame last night she couldn't get away.
What's the split of trotters to pacers in the barn at the moment?
It's probably 50-50, I guess. There's a few paces here too. There's a couple of young horses sort of coming through that look like they're nice horses. There's one or two here for Emilio and Mary Rosati that look like they give you a great feel. We haven't gone a heap there with them, but they give us a good feel, and yeah, so it's probably about 50-50.
And is the stable full, or you're looking for more? What's the go there?
No, we're full, mate. We're full. We've got literally at capacity there. So we sort of round 20 is our number, Greg. And that's what we want to do. Over that it starts getting probably a bit out of control, and it's just myself and Lockie here. Lockie painting, and he's doing a great job, but we're working for it. Like, we're going all day, and we're having big days, and kudos to Lockie, because he's been awesome. He's been great help for me, and he's doing a great job. So it's just the two of us. So we've got to keep our numbers under control, otherwise it gets out of control and unenjoyable. That's the big thing at the moment. We're really just trying to enjoy it, and we're lucky we've got a good group of owners around us, and they're sort of pretty understanding that's how we sort of have to do it. And so around 20 is our number.
Good to see Lockie drive a winner during the week too.
Oh, it was fantastic, and he done it for Jason and Mick Boots, like they're great friends of his also, him and Jace live together, and I know Lockie's dad's real good friends with Mick Boots, and so to see that was really, really cool. It was good fun. We were sitting by the TV cheering him home, the kids and Sarah, and it was like winning a race for ourselves. It was bloody great fun.
Mate, always great to catch up with you. Congratulations on the win last night. Good luck going forward.
Appreciate it, Greg. Thanks, mate.
Heads were turned 27 the quarter. Our Sadie K and Classic Elegance, they're locked in battle over Onyx Shard. Down the outside, Far Fella Stride. This fave's no good thing, and our Sadie K kicks. Our Sadie K, the leader. You Con Be Serious is weaving a passage, running home Far Fella Stride. It's our Sadie K, the leader. Inch by inch, Far Fella Stride tries to wear it down, dives, gets up, I reckon. In the last bound, I think it's Far Fella Stride and nose over our Sadie K.
Well, this time last week, I was talking to Sam Hewitt about his efforts on the track, picking up a couple of Breeders' Challenge heats at Bathurst. Fast forward the clock to today, and I'm going to catch up with the other twin, Scott, who's flying as well. In the space of last week, Scott's had 11 runners compete at 5 different tracks. He's won 4 races, 2 at Menangle on a Saturday night, and been placed a further 3 times. It's been a really good run. Scott's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thanks, Hazy. Thanks for having me on, mate.
No probs. Let's talk about the most recent success last night at Menangle. Farfalla Stride winning at huge odds and knocked off Brother Brad's red-hot favourite. This filly's going really well for you.
Yeah, no, I've sort of had a fair opinion of this filly right from when I first got her. She's a big, strong, always be Mickey filly, and she's always impressed me, but one of them ones, that she's just going to keep getting better the older she gets and the more racing she does. And yeah, I think last night sort of, it probably proved it in my mind too that, she's as good as what I think she is, but there's probably still improvement there. But, last night was just a real pleasing result to say that she can go down there and compete and run a race that I thought she was capable of.
And I guess, when she's a filly and she goes out and wins in, 150, it's very good for her future career prospects as a mum.
Oh, for sure. Like, you look at any of Emilio's and they're, you wouldn't trade them for anything on the breeding side of things. But, yeah, to look at her, she's a beautiful big filly and only going to, improve that way as she gets older. But to get that time next to her name early on in her career, and, yeah, it's only going to help her. And I think there's, better things to come from her just as she matures a bit more.
Chloe went back at the start last night, and that worked out perfectly. They ran a sub-26 second first quarter. You must have been pretty happy with how everything panned out.
Yeah, well, she went around at a ridiculous price, and I'm not complaining because I got a little bit of it. But I said to Emilio, before the race, I said she's going to go around at cricket score odds, but we've got to have a bit of it. I think she lands anywhere near decent. She's going to finish off well, and like you said, it panned out perfectly. There was good speed early, and even round the bend, third quarter in 27, probably took the sting out of a few of the leaders and the ones that had done a bit of work and set it up for her. But yeah, the 1 horse, when it dropped off, I thought, well, she's probably not, going to finish beat the leader. She still had quite a bit of work to do, and even at the 100, she still had a bit to do. But to her credit, she knuckled down and got it done, and yeah, she raced a few of the older mares, so it was pretty pleasing to get that one last night.
Watching Chloe, I'm thinking, get out, go chase, and she knew exactly what to do. She sat there as long as she could, got into the straight, and then pulled out and let her really hit the line. It was a really well-calculated drive. A lot of other drivers would have panicked and got going before she had to, and in the end, she timed a run to the minute.
No, 100%. She's really good that way with, I think, all of her driving, but especially on my horses. I can let her know what I think roughly before the race, but, while the horses and Chloe are out there, it's up to her, and very rarely she gets it wrong, and she got it spot on there last night. She knew that she would have a good finish with that filly. She drove her on Monday and was a bit unlucky, so I suppose a little bit of confidence there, knowing that she would finish off good. And she said when she pulled her out, she sprinted well and knuckled down in the straight to pick up the leader. So yeah, it was a really good drive.
You've had the filly since she had her first trial. How did that connection with the Rosati's come about?
It was about probably this time last year. Emilio rang me up one day and he said, "Have you got room for some horses?" And when someone like Emilio rings up with the calibre of horse he's got, I didn't think about it too long, and I think 4 or 5 turned up here in the first hit, and yeah, she was one of them. We sort of started on these fillies, and they qualified just before Christmas. Farfalla did, and we gave her a run. It was the last 2-year-old of the season at Goulburn, and she only qualified the week before, and it was all a bit of a rush, but she was just one of them ones that could get up and go, and she had that start and got it wrong, but I think she came out and won her next start at Menangle. So that was the start of it, and yeah, we've continued on with a few others. Sunset Stride one during the week, she was a new one that turned up, and there's a few babies here that he's got, so yeah, pretty lucky really with the horses that are turning up here and the way they're bred and the way they've been looked after. Well, they've been given every chance.
How is it training for Emilio? He's had plenty of trainers. He's a very passionate owner and a great supporter of plenty of stables. It must have been really nice to get that phone call and, from him to say, will you take some horses?
Oh, for sure. Like, we've grown up in the sport and always bred and raced a lot of our own homebred ones. And yeah, you get someone like Emilio ring up and offer you the quality of horse that he's got. Yeah, you sort of pinch yourself some days. You couldn't go find probably a better bred one in the country, or he bought the best blood in New Zealand, and he's bought the best blood in America, and brought a lot of it back here, and runs his own breeding and racing operation. And he just doesn't muck about with the breeding side of it. They're given every chance possible, and where he adjusts them and how he looks after them. It's, how you look after the horse is the thing he's most worried about. He just loves his horses, and he's so passionate about the game. But yeah, just the love for the horse he has is, probably what really kicks you along. Like he had a couple in that race last night, and he was just as pleased to see, Destiny's Stride go around and run another good race, and even his trotters, he just loves the game.
Sunset Stride, you mentioned, it won for them again, or won for them during the week, that first start for the stable. That's a nice way to welcome a new horse to the stable.
Yeah, she came up from Victoria, and she just had a bit of a freshen up. And I haven't done a lot with her. She just had one trial, and she's still settling in here. Really, I've only sort of give her 3 weeks work, but everything I've done with her, she just she wants to please you, and she's one of these always be Mickeys that I think, even though she is a 4-year-old, I think the more time she has, the better she's going to get. But to get that one on Wednesday, she had the draw and a few things in her favour, but at the end of the day, they've still got to get it done. And she kicked away nice in the straight. She went 56, I think, and I thought, well, she's sort of nowhere near wound right up. I'm still learning about her, and she's still learning about my place and my track and things like that. So to get that one out of the way was really pleasing, but I think there's a lot bigger things to come for her.
Raging Sea also won on that card, been a really good horse for the stable. He came to you from your dad in late 2023, had a really good 2024, spent some time in Queensland, now back in New South Wales and doing a really good job.
Yeah, he's been he's a little horse, but he's got a little bit of age on him now, but you'd think he's a 2-year-old, he just loves the stable and racing life, and got some paddocks here, and that was probably the main reason Dad sent him out to me. He just lost the plot a bit in Goulburn, and his confidence was right down. So Dad, said to me one day, would you give him a crack? And I thought, I don't really know how to go. If Dad can't sort him out, I don't know how I am. But we've just sort of worked him up here as one of our own, and he just loves sort of being in around the stables, and he loves his paddock time, and I think that's shown in his racing too. He's happy and confident. So I took him to Queensland and give him a bit of a prep there myself, and then I left him with Jem, and he done a super job up there. He won a bit of money, and I think just the racing week to week got him going, and then I brought him back here, and I thought he could win race or two at Menangle on a Saturday night, and he's been a lot of fun for me and Bree.
I know Dwayne Ranger put out a story about you recently picking up your 200th training win. This year's been a really good one for you. 2023, probably the one that got you going again. You've trained 50 winners that year, but you've been really consistent year in and year out, and by the sounds of it, the team's pretty big at the moment. Like you've got a few horses there.
Yeah, we always hover around that sort of 20, 25 mark, and we try and keep it half and half with babies and race horses. We've got 2 young kids, so don't really want to be at the races, every day if you can help it. But just at the moment, there's a few racing, and they're racing well. So things are pretty busy. But yeah, we've had a good year. We've won, you sort of try and set goals each year to be better than the last one. And a couple of years ago, we won quite a lot of races, but this year we sort of wanted to focus on, obviously want to win as many races as you can, but you want to win as many good races as you can, and focused a little bit more at racing at Menangle, and it's sort of starting to pay off.
So we're recording this on the Sunday morning. You're off to Yarra today, so it's 5-6 different race meetings in the space of a week. That's a fair workload. Obviously, it's taking a fair investment of time and effort to get the results you're getting.
Yeah, well, we're located, central to all these sort of country tracks, and Menangle's even, it's only 2.5 hours away, but there's always travel involved, and I'm pretty lucky that way that if things need doing at home here, I can send my wife and another really loyal stable client here, Mick O'Brien. They love travelling together, and I'm pretty lucky that they can chip in with a bit of travel and take him if I can't make it. But you don't mind travelling while ever they're earning and going good hazy, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Just finally, are you on your grandfather's old place? Is that where you're training from?
Yeah, we're on 200 acres here where sort of Dad and Mark and Bern and Jenna, they all grew up here.
Yep.
We lived here up until I was about 12, and then we moved to Goulburn with Mum and Dad and spent a few years in there. And then the opportunity come up, probably 10 years ago that my wife and Bree and me, we said, we'd like to come back and have a crack at setting up on the farm. And like she's a wool caster, so it was probably a no-brainer that she come back out this way and for her work. And, we've made a go of it, and there's always things to do and keep improving the place. But, yeah, it's pretty special driving in the front gates when you have a winner or a good day or a good night, and knowing that, Nan and Grandad built the house and Dad and my aunties and uncles grew up in it. And, yeah, there's a lot of family history here, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, for sure, mate, for sure. And just finally, the Hewitt boys, you're having a remarkable run at the moment. Brad's been flying for years, and then you and Sammy, you're both hitting your straps at the right time. It's good to see that the family really kicking some goals.
Yeah, well, I think success has got a lot to do with the stock you've got around you, but, it's pretty pleasing that all of us have started to get a bit better horse in the barn and starting to do a bit better job with them. And yeah, like Sam's 2-year-olds, well, you couldn't really fault any of their efforts this year. He's got a couple there that have hardly been beat, and when Brad's had a really good year and always got some nice juveniles, and then even Dad with his 2-year-olds, well, I think they're probably a handful of the best 2-year-olds in the state, and it's pretty special that we get together and can talk about them sort of horses all at the one time.
Mate, great to catch up with you. Known you for a long time. Really good to see you winning plenty of races, and keep going, keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Hazy. Thanks for the time, mate.
Towards home they go, third quarter, 28.8. Leader is Jillaby Saffron, turned just in front over Major Allegiance. Electra Girl desperately needs to get out. Leader is Jillaby Saffron, Major Allegiance, Arc Alert coming on down the outside. Major Allegiance levelling up for Mackenzie Atkinson, a first training win. And it is Major Allegiance who gets the win. Second, give it to Arc Alert ahead of Jillaby Saffron on the inside.
Didn't take the 22-year-old Mackenzie Atkinson long to train her first winner. With just her fourth runner, Mackenzie opened up her winning account. 3 starts at the Riverina track with the same horse, Major Allegiance, for no result, but a trip to Canberra on a cold Monday night worked out nicely for everyone, especially Mackenzie. Congratulations, Mackenzie. Well done.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you for that.
You were pretty patient. The horse only had 4 starts in the space of 3 months, and at his 4th run for you, everything worked out nicely, and you got the result.
Yeah, it was really good. I couldn't expect a better run. It all just panned out in his lap, and I actually thought it was such a perfect run. Something would surely go wrong.
Take us through it because on Monday night, the horse that drew barrier 1 galloped and took out the horse behind it, and despite that all happening around Major Allegiance and him being drawn in 8, everything worked out okay out of the mobile.
Yeah, well, as bad as it is for the one and the one behind it, it worked out perfectly for us. He's a pretty easy horse. He's as calm as you can get him. It didn't seem to bother him, and he just followed Buzz out of the gate, and it just panned out perfectly. And he's pretty strong when he goes in the lead or the death, so I wasn't too worried about that. I was just worried about him being able to stay there and finish it off.
Harry Ross got him around to the chair. He looked really comfortable, but then in the back straight, I thought, the leader, Jillaby Saffron, was travelling pretty well, and Harry was just niggling at Major Allegiance to stay in contact.
Yeah, I honestly thought when they were on the back straight in that last 2 corners, I honestly thought we'll go on, but he just picked up beautifully. He just kept going and got his head in the game and just finished it off, but I honestly thought we'll go on the straight. I started walking away a little bit, but I was like, I may as well just finish watching the race.
He was really tough in the run home, proved too strong, and that must have been a pretty special feeling when he did go past the post first.
Yeah, I was honestly stoked. I did get a bit vocal on the sidelines. I usually do when he races, but honestly, I wasn't sure he was going to get there. But then he's so consistent, he's so strong, and he finished off so perfectly. I couldn't ask for a better run from him.
Now, it was only a few weeks ago on the podcast I was talking to your brother Matthew about his first driving win, and he spoke about having to work out whether he concentrated on footy or horses. And what's your story? Were you always destined to follow your dad into the horses?
Not really. I was a bit like Matt. I wasn't too interested in it. Like, I liked having the horses around, but I didn't really do anything with them until I got older. Just at uni at the moment, studying teaching, so I haven't really thought about the horses since, like, for ages until maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I wasn't.
But you've grown up around them, so you've always been comfortable around the horses.
Yeah. Well, we've always had them around, and like I've been comfortable enough with them, but it wasn't really anything I ever really wanted to do until 3 years ago. But I've never felt like out of place around them, I wouldn't say.
Yep. And how did this one come to be in your name? Like, obviously, your dad had trained it previously. Was the decision made that this was going to be the horse to give you your first go at training?
Well, I did most of the stuff with him all the way through. We've had him since he was from the sales, and I just did a lot with him, and I kind of claimed him. And Dad said, if you want your trainers, you can put him in your name. And it worked out well. He's like the first horse I've ever done anything with. Like, he's quiet as can be. So he was my first like jog trip, fast work trip, and now he's my first trained horse.
Family-owned horse. Everyone's in it, but there are a couple of others in the ownership, including the Sharks player Tom Hazelton. He had 2 good results in Canberra in the space of 48 hours. The Sharks beat the Raiders, and then the horse won. How did Tom become involved with the stable and the family?
Tommy's been a real big supporter of us. He's best mates with my older brother. They used to live in Sydney together while Mitch was up playing footy there, but they knew each other from school and footy in Goulburn. And then Mitch just asked him if he wanted to go on a horse, and he was, and he's been such a good supporter of Artie and some of the other horses he's been in, and he was pretty rapt.
Do you have a job outside of the horses, or are you doing the horses full time?
I work at a high school 4 days a week as a student learning support officer, so just helping kids in class and out of class with literacy and numeracy intervention. Okay,
and you mentioned uni doing teaching?
Yeah, I'm studying that full time as well, just online.
Okay, so you're pretty busy by the sounds of it. You've got the SLSO job going, you've got the full-time uni, and you're also training horses, so there wouldn't be too much spare time for you.
Nah, it gets pretty busy. I just try to do the uni on the way to the races because there's a lot of travelling in that, so that kind of works out well, but very, very busy.
Let's talk about Major Allegiance. He's always been competing in good races. I think he went round in a Heat of the Gold Crown as a 2-year-old. He contested a Heat of the New South Wales Derby at 3. So he's always shown above average ability. He's been very good for the family.
Yeah, he's always shown a little bit of ability. In his younger, probably racing, he just didn't finish off as well and just kind of went to sleep on the job on the straights, and we finally got him gelded, and we saw a big, massive difference after that when he had a good season towards the end of last year. But he's always shown that he's a tough horse, but he just wasn't finishing those races off how we knew he could, so we gelded him. But, he's always shown ability.
He's now won 7 races. What are the plans with him going forward? Do you just try and pick out another nice couple of races for him in the next month or so?
Yeah, we nominated him for Eugera in the up to 75, but it didn't stand up, so we'll probably go the next Eugera meeting.
Yep.
Just because he really likes the small tracks and he gets around them quite well.
Okay. You've obviously got the teaching, forefront. Do you want to train more horses? Do you want to have, more horses in your name? What are the long-term plans for you?
I've currently got 2 at the moment, and I work with Dad Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and just of the morning. So I think I'm pretty content with how many I've got at the moment and helping Dad out just while I'm studying and in future teaching.
Yep. Matthew's the driver. No thoughts about you wanting to become a driver? You're happy just doing the training side of it?
Yeah, I'm very happy to just stay training.
The weather's starting to get a bit warmer, but down in the Goulburn area, it can get pretty cold in the winters. It must be hard some days to get out there and work the horses when it's freezing cold.
Yeah, we've had probably the worst winter we've had in a long, long time, and it's just taking a toll on a lot of the horses and just us. Like, it's really hard when it's that cold, and we'll be looking forward to the warmer weather, but it's just been terrible with the cold weather.
Look, it's always fantastic to see someone win their first race. I know Matt Jones mentioned it in the call as well, that it was your first winner, so it's something you're going to have forever. Congratulations on that first win, and good luck going forward.
Thanks, Greg. It means a lot.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning? Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
To that I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner! Just like that.
And the winner is...
Well, Mr. T got a winner last week. He showed a profit of $5 for the week, and he's +5 as a result. I got 2 shorties beaten, so I'm -20. Mr. T has 2 winners this week that will be short, he says. Bathurst Wednesday, race 1, number 4, Puppeteer. It's on the crest of a winning wave. Looks very hard to beat for Justin Reynolds, and Jeff Simpson should roll forward and take the lead and be winning. That's race 1, number 4, Puppeteer, and race 6, number 1, Yachty. Now, it's only had the 1 run for Bernie Hewitt. Will be better for the experience, finds itself in a very winnable race from the good draw. Mr. T just wants to consolidate his lead, I think, making sure he gets a return on his investment this week. My 2, Menangle Monday, race 4, number 10, Oshley, for Peter O'Shea and Adam Fairley, hence the name. Looks like she has her fair share of ability, but the winner has gone sub 152 at its last 2, and she has been chasing. I think she's a bowler's chance to get through to the final if she can get through this heat. So that's race 4, number 10, Oshley, and race 5, number 2, Dagama Teal. I really, really like this one. She's only had the 2 starts. She beat Ride the Highs in the Nutrien final last time out, and we saw that horse come out and perform so well in Queensland. She might be one out of the box. Another one for Emma Stewart. I'm also trying to get on the board this round. It'll be short. Race 5, number 2, the Gamia Teal. That just about wraps up the podcast for this week. No show next week. I mentioned that at the top. I'm away. What do all the professionals say when they're away? They're on assignment. No, definitely not on assignment, but I will return in a fortnight to talk harness racing in New South Wales. I will catch you in 2 weeks' time, but it's bye for now.